It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Monday. All right, guys, we have a crazy week this week. I'm going to bring Jason on in a second to let you know what we have going on tomorrow. And for everyone who supported an amazing cause, thank you. We have some packages to pick up, and I think you're really going to make a child's Christmas special. Now, with that, Jason and I had an insane weekend. We're going to be covering it on the podcast. Tomorrow's episode, we're calling it Strip Clubs and Stalkers. You guys can put two and two together, try to guess all you want. You're never going to guess what happened this weekend until you listen tomorrow. With that, we're back to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. We got the new episode last night, but we got the first 4 episodes of the Real Housewives of Miami. White Lotus is over, and that is so depressing, and there's just lots to discuss. So smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's welcome Jason.
Hey,
Hello.
happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yeah. You guys will never be able to guess what this podcast is about.
Guys, the most
it's
unexpected.
crazy. Now, I wish I could say one of the strippers was a stalker of ours, but that's not the case.
Okay, don't give away too much. Mind you, guys, I'm like cotton candy. I don't do crazy wild things. So
You guys got to listen to this episode. It's ridiculous and crazy and good.
Yeah.
But we have other fun things coming up, especially tomorrow night. I know a lot of you have already supported, have sent in gifts for this, but we are hosting tomorrow night right here in Palm Beach, a cast watch party with the Below Deck Adventure cast with all of the people you see on the screen, plus a lot of surprise guests. So that will be really, really fun. All the donations go to benefit the Children's Museum of the Treasure Coast. And of course, we're collecting toys for kids as well. So if you are coming, bring an unwrapped toy. Thank you so much, Elaine, Murray, Krista, everyone else who sent us toys to take to the event on behalf of you, because you can't attend. And we really, really appreciate it. We will also be live streaming tomorrow from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, which all of the cast and guests will be popping on the live stream as well. From the event.
So it's going to be so wild. So I actually have my brother and sister coming in town tomorrow too. My brother's coming in town from up north, and he's going to be spending some holidays with us. And then the week after, we have Jason's mom coming in town. So the holidays are always just such a fun time, especially when we have some of our favorite Bravo drama going down. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, I see where some people, Bryant said, already binged all 4 episodes of Miami. Yeah, guys, Miami this season, when they say like the cliche of is bringing the heat, they're not kidding. Like,
don't you feel like last season, like they came back and it was a little bit of a warm up, right? Like we loved seeing Miami again. The opulence in Miami, it way surpasses like Beverly Hills because they don't show it off. Like they don't have to be like, look at my this, look at my that. They just have it and they don't care. Like it's funny to watch Nicole.
Beverly Hills lives in an $80 million home.
I mean, well, yeah, that's very true.
Well,
that's
nobody in Miami does either anymore, though.
But I feel like they're bringing it though. I feel like last season was a warm up season. They're back. They are. They know what to do, and they're so entertaining. 4 episodes, and then we got that hot mic moment from Lenny.
Lenny Hochstein, man, you are put on blast. And this just, I don't understand. Let's just start with Miami really quick. Then we'll go into Potomac and Beverly Hills. I don't understand when people film these reality shows and not understanding that you are mic'd up. Like these mics are expensive as hell. They catch everything. No one's safe. Don't speak when there's the mic on. Lisa Barlow, Lenny Hochstein, like how many people, Michael Darby, come on. Right?
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, how can you not know? Those mics, they can pick up everything in the room, everything in the next room. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So for those of you guys who, one, if you've watched the first couple episodes of The Real Housewives of Miami, go ahead and drop a rating and let us know what would you rate it this season, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Mary Morton, hello. Hi, thank you, new member.
Hey, welcome.
We'll have another members only live next week. This past one kind of exhausted the hell out of us. So next week we'll try to we clown around too much on the members only lives, but that's exactly what they're for. We have a 10. Okay, he knew and did it intentionally. This is the thing I don't necessarily understand.
Kind of agree with
get into
that,
the
yeah.
Hochstein of it all, okay? Because we see Lisa Hochstein, who I met at BravoCon. She was absolutely a sweetheart to me. So nice. And most of the housewives were, but I believe it was me and Kempire who ran into her. And we had a conversation and she said this season's going to be a lot. And now we're watching this unfold. Lisa Hochstein is totally on edge when we're, watching her in the first 4 seasons. And it seems like it's one of those moments where she's trying to let everybody know, like, let's just do it like this. Julia Limagova is being very open and honest about how her and Martina are having ups and downs right now and how she's going through empty nest syndrome. Okay. She's talking about it and she's like, right now, my daughters aren't home. Martina is always traveling. I'm at home and I talk to my birds and my chickens and my goats. And Martina told me if I keep acting this way, that she's not going to stay with me. But she's being vulnerable about it and she's being very open about it. Now,
and well, I think too, with jumping back into modeling, this is something that will keep her busy, maybe a hobby, or maybe we'll get to see more of that as the season goes on too.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was so funny when the littler guy came up to her and he's like, "Are you from here?" And then he said, "I'm from New York." And he's like, "Oh, well, I do finance. What do you do?" And she's like, "I milk goats." He's like, "What?" She's like, "I milk goats." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what do we have happening? But my point is, the difference that we have here is that she's being very forthcoming, whereas we see Lisa Hochstein in the first 4 episodes being very reactive. And you could tell she's trying to sell it to everybody. And I feel really bad for her. I really do. But she's trying to sell it to the audience. Like Lenny and I, we've had our ups and downs, but right now we're really on a high up and up.
We're on and up, but doesn't it come off like not like a little bit inauthentic? Just a tiny bit, right? Like it seems like she's working really hard to get his attention. She's working really hard to convince everyone that they're in a good place. Like really hard. It's like, like, okay, for example, we have a friend who is in a relationship that's probably not great, but all the time that friend has to convince us of how great they're doing. You ask, "Hey, how's your day?" She's like, "Oh my gosh, well, we're doing great. It's so crazy how great we're doing. Like, this is so great." And you know that it's not great. And
I feel like you and I are completely the opposite of that, though, too, because if I'm so much of an open book and Jason's pretty closed off a lot of times when it comes to sharing our personal stuff. And somebody will walk up to me. I don't care if I'm at Trader Joe's and the cashier's like, "Are you having a good day?" And I'm like, Jason is an asshole because of this, this, and this. And I am so sick and
not an
tired.
Asshole.
And and
it's
then
so funny because we'll be at Trader Joe's. Let's use that as an example because I feel like every cashier who works at Trader Joe's knows who you are, except you don't remember talking to them or having any kind of recollection of talking to them. They're like, "Hey, remember my sister who's the cancer? She just had her birthday." And you're like, "Who are you?" And it's like, don't you remember talking to these people?
Well, no, but also, mind you, I was hit on the head. And when I go to Trader Joe's, guys, it's literally at 9 o'clock in the morning. I go before the crowds. I go there. I'm not like walking in there after like a party or something. I'm walking in there and I'm like, "Hi, and how are you?" And just talking to people. But I feel like I talk to I'll talk to the person who's bagging the groceries and I'll bag them with them. And I'll be like, "Hey, Iris, how's it going? How's your mom?" And like, I just talk to everybody. But then what happens is like this weekend, for example, we were out at a restaurant. I'm not going to give too much away because it's going into the podcast. And this couple sitting next to us or sitting at a different table. And they're like, "Hey, Adam and Jason." And I looked at Jason and I was like, "Who are you?" Like, who are Jason?
Yeah, I know.
How do we know
It's
them?
so awkward because I barely remembered them too, but that's a whole different story.
I mean, listen. Oh,
but
this is
anyways,
are you mic'd up? Why do you think I'm whispering? Really? Yeah. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, whispering into the mic because I can whisper into this mic and you're still gonna hear me.
ASMR.
It's so crazy. I did think that he knew what he was doing, especially with the mic. The cameras are in the house, the producers are there, the cast is filming. Obviously, whatever you say is going to be heard. And he did say we've had so many conversations about this, so it's like, is this his way of really putting it out there? And saying like, "You're not listening to me. and I'm trying to have this conversation with you. I'm done. But then the other housewives like Marisol, Alexia, they talk about the parties that they have, like that Lisa and Lenny have at their house, you know, their famous Halloween party, or like lots of boobs and butts are out, you know. This can't be conducive to a healthy relationship if Lenny always has candy around him, right?
Right.
So
Well, and you know, I think that we're watching Lenny, and I saw a lot of the Twitter feedback and like the fan backlash against Lenny because he's like, "Do you understand me? I know that you're not going to end up leaving this house. I know that I'm going to have to force you out of this house." And you can see where he's coming off like a little like aggressive, and she's like, "Why are you? I'm the mother of your kids." And I think it's from a perspective of you have three different types of people and how they handle divorces and relationships, right? We have Katie Maloney and Tom Shorts, and they talk about it, and they've been open in different podcast interviews, and they're like, we're the best divorcees ever because we still have a friendship. We maintain, you know, like co-parenting our dogs, and we still talk all the time. We check in on each other. Then you have the person who ghosts that other person. He can't ghost Lisa Hochstein. And then you have, for example, this is probably TMI, and Jason might not appreciate that I'm sharing this, but when Jason and I first met,
I don't really have a choice, do I?
No. In the first month that we met, I wouldn't tell anybody I was gay, and I was like just afraid to say it because I thought maybe my family won't talk to me. I didn't know what the outcome would be. So Jason and I were hanging out, and we started just getting too close, spending all of our time together. And then I was like, I'm done. I need you to go away. And he's like, wait, what happened?
You
I'm
did
like,
ghost me
"Stop
for 2
talking to
weeks.
me." Yeah, I ghosted you, but you were trying to talk to me, and I started being mean because I was like, you need to go away, leave me alone. And then he did. And I'm like, no, wait, come back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But I mean, I felt like I was Lenny in that moment. I was being mean to get you to go away. And I feel like that's what he's doing to Lisa. And he knows that this is not going to be an amicable divorce. This is not going to be, we can fix things, because even in the hot mic moment, he said, I can't hook up with my wife right now because I feel like I'm cheating on the person who I really care about. And it's
Yikes.
like, ugh.
I mean, you have her convincing everyone to saying like, well, Lenny's mother said that you're a Hochstein. Hochsteins don't get divorced. Like, she's trying to do everything to really convince herself, I think more importantly herself, but everyone else around her too. It is sad because you get to that moment of like, oh shit, what am I going to do? But then I'm thinking like, what do you expect? Like, no offense to anyone. I love a good party, but you have some crazy ass parties at that house. Parties where people call the police, Halloween parties that are iconic. You have
Helicopter.
these, you know, everything, you know, you see the celebrity sighting boats going behind them at their party. I mean, you have a lot. What do you expect? It's Miami. If you're going to put that stuff out there and open your I'm not saying they're in an open relationship, but you open to having those parties and those people there who are just, I don't know. I just feel like call it a day.
I mean,
Call it a day.
You could tell watching the first 4 episodes that Lisa knows that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes at home. And you
Yeah.
can see where she's obviously visibly upset because we have her, very pixelated. We have her and Larsa, and she goes over to Larsa's house. Larsa has this new penthouse in the sky, which is absolutely stunning. And she's like, guess what? OnlyFans, bitch, paid for this. And this is my new house, and it's gorgeous, right? She's living her best life. But Lisa made a joke about it, and Larsa was like, okay, you're going to dig on my new house? Don't talk about my family, my home, nothing like that. And by the way, you have 2 mortgages, girl. And she's like, how can you attack my finances? I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, most people, Lisa, have mortgages. This is not a foreign concept. You're implying that I can't afford my life because...
Well, and Lenny said it's not a mortgage on their house. It's a home equity loan, which I'm trying to, maybe I don't understand it, but that kind of seems like a home equity loan is to buy a house. I don't know. Or
When
take money out of the house.
When he said to Lisa, he's like, it's kind of sad that Larsa doesn't know what a home equity loan is. I was like,
I think she might. You know what I have to say though is at the very first episode, Lisa wanted to get to Larsa's for the New Beginnings party, and I think she wanted to squash that before it was brought up. Too late, Kiki brought it up. By the way, remember last season when we were talking about Miami, everyone was like, "We can do without Kiki. We can do without Kiki," and I was like, "I want to see Kiki back." I am so happy with just the cast how it is right now. I love everyone who's an official housewife. I love everyone who's a friend, you know,
Yeah.
but Kiki brought it up and it was too late. But hey, I have to give Larsa props, like to each their own. Do what you have to do to make your money. And
And
Wow.
getting back to it, like getting back to some of the different, like dynamics, we have all of the same housewives back, and then we have the same friends up. Marisol Patton and Adriana Demora, I was so confused last season as to why they are friends up, but this season I totally get it. They're definitely supporting roles on this show. Marisol's main storyline is the fact that she can outdrink anybody in any party at any place and she doesn't get hangovers. And she really supports Alexia Echevarria all the time. So I get that. And then for Kiki, I just want to see more from her, but she came out guns a-blazing the first episode like, oh, you want drama? Here I am.
Very, very happy. I mean, listen, I don't think Marisol would have enough happening like in her personal life. She seems very like settled, and happy. I think she does play a better supporting role, like you said,
Yeah.
for sure. But she's out there.
Yeah.
She can bring it.
And then we have Gertie, who was voted #1 event planner in the world by Vogue, which is insane. And then, of course, we have Alexia, and she already got married, but she wanted to have a celebration on this yacht that they rented out for 5 hours. Her ring's massive. She can park her car on like the 55th floor of her building inside of her living room. That is just absolutely insane. And we see where she's navigating as a Cuban mom, some shit that's going down with her son. If you guys remember, it was just a few months ago where her son was arrested because he allegedly beat up and dragged out his girlfriend out of the house. Well, Alexia is clearing up the story because his son is still with this girl. And she's like, no, she was drunk. She wanted to drive and he was taking her keys away. So they got into sort of a back and forth fight. And now she's like, a mom, I can't forgive that. I can't look at this girl. I don't like this girl. I don't want this girl around. She's very problematic. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where Alexi's coming from, but at the same time, it's like you got to let Peter make that choice for himself, and
But
who knows what kind of work.
Great choices.
No, this is true. He doesn't have a good history of that, but who knows what she has done to work on that since that had happened. I don't know.
I mean, she was married to a big drug guy, so she didn't make great choices either. She's evolved.
Well, then there's just a whole bunch of bad choices in one house, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. What was your funny story?
Funny story about Gertie, because she was voted #1 wedding planner in the world. Let me tell you a really quick story about BravoCon and how Gertie worked in like 4 events plus BravoCon. She arrived the first day. She had her stuff set up, her booth, because I was working right next to her booth for Caroline Stanbury. And she had her booth set up and everything done, made sure it was okay, did her press. She left New York. She flew in that day. Then she left New York also that day to go back to Miami to do an event. Flew back to New York on Sunday to do another event and come finish up BravoCon and do panels in between and do everything else. Gertie is a nonstop, and I really don't know. Just watching her and hearing the people who work for her, how busy she is, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it's insane. I also heard it's an extra tens of thousands of dollars to have her at your event.
Allegedly somewhere around $30,000 to $40,000. Like, she'll plan your wedding, but
she won't be there. Her team will be there. But if you want her there, then it does cost extra. But if you are the #1 in the world, according to Vogue, I guess it's worth it.
$30,000 to $40,000 is a shit ton of money. I would be like, I feel like you could get like Elton John for that. I mean, you can't.
I feel like she's a hustler. Like, I feel like she hustles.
Yeah, good for her.
Love it.
Good for her.
And I love this cast.
A lot of people don't like, and I saw this in the live chat too, how Alexia is treating Gertie, and Gertie wasn't the one who ended up doing Alexia's event at the end of the day. However, once you have a reunion from last season, you have everybody going up against each other, there's still some bad blood. And if we were sitting there getting married, wanting to throw like a party, I don't want to carry that bad blood or the negative or ill intentions into my party, because at that point, Alexia, I feel like she's superstitious and she's kind of like, well, maybe this could affect something, or what if you try to sabotage my event? Or I don't think Gertie would do that, but I could see why all of these things would be running through her mind. And she's like, you know what? I'll get somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on, because I know that some people have to still catch up to The Real Housewives of Miami. Again, it's on Peacock right now. First 4 episodes are out, and then new episodes come out every single Thursday, which is great for me because I feel like now that the Kardashians are over, I don't know what to watch on Thursdays. So this makes me really happy. What?
I mean, how can you wait? I don't know.
Okay.
The Kardashians.
Yeah.
It's an hour and still like nothing happens. we spent an hour with these girls and it's like, what happened? What did I just watch? There was one episode where like, I guess Courtney's assistant was like rubbing lotion into, what's the guy she named? Travis's arms. And like, they were getting ready for a photo shoot and they were sitting there having this really redundant conversation. And I'm just like, what am I watching?
You're so bitter.
No, I mean, not when you have a show like The Real Housewives of Miami. I mean, come on. Larsa's like, yeah, at least we have substance in our show.
I mean, listen, speaking of which, I have to say before we get to Potomac, I don't know if you guys saw, but Jen Shah is back on Twitter. Guys, smash that like button, show some love. Jen Shah is back on Twitter, okay? And I saw this morning because it was plastered all over the place. I'm back at Lisa Barlow. Get ready, bitch.
Oh, Lord.
Lisa Barlow responded, bitch, that's a word you should get used to hearing. Are you mad that you didn't get a pair of Louboutins and you're taking it out on me? Go spend time with your family. Ay, ay, ay. This is going to get really nasty really quick. And we know now that Jen Shah is going to the reunion. So
I was just going to say, this is going to lead into the reunion. And at least, listen, if you're going to be on the show the entire season, regardless of anything happening, I at least think you do get your place to speak your piece at the end. So I'm glad that everyone will be in attendance.
I think that aren't they filming the reunion this week?
Wait, what are we today? I thought it was the 17th, if I'm mistaken. I might be mistaken.
This week.
This next week. This week.
Saturday.
Oh, this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. The problem here is with the
it's getting chilly in Salt Lake.
Listen, the problem here is we talked about this with Jen Shah getting ready to figure out what her sentencing is. I feel like you have a situation where you have somebody who's like, if I'm not coming back to this show, I'm not going to let you clown me. I'm going to go out with a bang. And if I were these other women, I would be kind of nervous based off of what Jen might know about them, because I feel like since now she's going to the reunion, she's not going to hold back. Like, I would want to be not on the receiving end of that. So I feel like Meredith is safe. Angie Harrington is safe. Heather Gay is safe. And then I feel like Lisa Barlow, Whitney, Angie Katzenevas, Dana, it's going to be like on. It's going to be a shit show.
You know, what was it? I haven't seen an episode in a minute, but I saw last week's episode and I was, wow. Where do you think Salt Lake, just really quick, because I know we need to move on. We have a ton of other things and we have a limited amount of time, but where do you think Salt Lake's going to go after this? If you don't have Jen Shah, Angie K, I think, might be a good addition to the cast as a housewife, because I think she's a flip-flopper. I think she's kind of controversial. I think it would be fun. But do we need something else there? I think like Jen is like 3 housewives.
If they can convince Mary Cosby to come back, that could be a thing. But then also they need a dynamic person. The thing is, you have an ensemble cast, and Jen Shah has that explosive personality where you don't know what you're going to get. It's very unpredictable, and they need to replace that. I'm not saying at the same extent. I'm not saying bring on another Jen Shah. I don't think that there will be another Jen Shah, but I think that it's needed. You need somebody who's going to come in and be like, I don't care who any of you are. I'm going to say and do whatever I want, whether you like it or not. Like, not somebody who's coming in trying to blend in or be like, hi, I'm here. Can I film too? Or, hey, can you invite me on the trip? Okay, no, maybe not this time. Maybe next time. Love you, girls. Like that one. Well, never mind.
Like what? Like that one what? Because we're seeing a lot of friends on different franchises. Potomac, Miami. Like we have Larsa's friend on Miami. We have Jacqueline, Mia's friend on Potomac. And it's like, it seems like Friends is almost like an audition. Like, oh, I have a friend named Jacqueline. She's going to appear in a few episodes. See if you like her. And it's coming off very thirsty, especially Larsa's friend in Miami. I forgot her name, but very like overreactive. Oh, yes, Larsa. Wow, that is a great pink dress. Oh, girl. It's like, okay.
Speaking of what you would call
have to try.
I want to segue here. I want to segue because speaking of thirsty friends, we have a few. Okay. And I'm curious. Let's get into this really quick. Let's talk about last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. We have Karen Huger and also Gizelle and Robin are all announcing that they're doing live shows. That's never been done before. So,
I don't think that's a ticket I would want to pay for.
I would go to Karen Huger's.
Well, Karen Huger at least knows that a Karen Huger event or live show is not just about Karen Huger. It's what Karen Huger brings, right? We
Right.
saw this at BravoCon, and I hate to bring up BravoCon, but it gave me a chance to see these ladies and what they can pull off with a small table, a booth, and what they bring, right? Karen had literally like a throne director's chair to sign and take pictures and stuff like that. And she brought this whole like immaculate set to sell these candles. I thought it was great.
Wasn't
So
she
I know
charging
that,
per photo?
yeah, well, that got, like they had to stop doing that. But apparently at like Comic-Con and other things, you charge people to take photos with you. So listen, I'm not mad at the hustle. If you want to do it, if you want to pay for it and whatever. But she did bring a lot. So imagine going to her show. I mean, I don't know who the guy was, her assistant or her friend or something, the lawyer looking one from earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was, talking about performances, and so you have like singers, and it's not just about Karen Huger. It's a Karen Huger event. So
He's making it
extravaganza.
sound like the Countess and Friends.
Yeah, cut to a big performance. Cut to Karen walks out on stage in a different dress. Cut to, and it's like, right. It's literally going to be at like City Winery, like our show or something. It's fine. This is not like
but it
a
sounds
Tony
fun.
Award winning production.
But then if you think about like the Reasonably Shady live show, if I had to think, guys, I want to ask you in the live chat, whose show, if you could only go to one, are you going to Karen's live show, Karen and Friends, the Grand Dame and Friends, or are you going to the Reasonably Shady live podcast show?
I want to see about the reasonably the tickets that will sell. I don't know how many will sell. Like how many would sell to that? They had a big auditorium. There was like 10 people there, wasn't there?
I mean, I heard Stassi talking about this the other day, and she was talking to one of her friends from the Morning Toast. And she was like, it was so crazy because your live show, it was so good. And you sat up there and you commanded the audience's attention for 90 minutes. She's like, when I'm on and I did my live shows with my husband, she's like, we're on stage and I need props and a couch and I need like a crown and I need things to do to keep people like entertained because I feel like I can't carry the show by myself. So that's pretty much the same thing that Karen would be doing. It would be bringing in different guests. And even when we did our live show, it was the same thing. It was like you bring in guests, you have a little bit at the beginning, you do a live Q&A, you have interviews.
That was so fun though. And I remember you guys talking about like, is anyone going to show up to this? And that's something you have to think about too. Like just because you have the name and the housewife name and stuff like doesn't mean people want to come see you like talk about stuff on stage. Maybe I might go see a Two Teas in a Pod live thing, or like Kelly Dodd and Rick. I would go watch that because you never know what the hell's going to be said on stage. But I don't know if I would. Reasonably Shady, 1 million downloads.
I mean,
really,
1 million downloads is good. Okay, they've had a lot more than 1 million now. I mean, listen.
I mean, that's hard to get. That I'm saying, like, I mean, their people are listening.
I have to say really quick too, Two Teas in a Pod. I was, sometimes I listen to them and I'll listen to their podcast episodes. And when you do, you have the mic going in and out and you have different things. And sometimes it's really, really great quality. No, it's not a diss. I'm just saying the fact that it's like they kind of just go on and have girl time, girl chat, and they just talk as friends. And that's why it's been so successful because it's not always just the quality. And for them, they had 2.5 million downloads in October alone. And for Gizelle and Robin, I think that Gizelle and Robin are great. I just feel like Gizelle kind of commands a lot of the conversation. And I think that that's where they differ. But they also don't cover all things housewives, right? So
this is true. And it can bring a different audience.
Yeah, they can bring a different audience. But anyways, going back to it, I thought it was funny because last night I was seeing on Twitter where people are like, first of all, Dr. Wendy Osefo goes to you, Karen, and tells you that she is doing a candle. Then you come back and you do a candle. Now we have the Reasonably Shady crew and they're doing a live podcast performance. Now Karen's like, I want to do a live podcast performance. But Karen, I think that she comes in and she's like, hold on, I'm bored. I need something to do. I'm going to do. That's a great idea.
I think
I'm going to make it better.
I think she can execute.
Yeah.
I just don't think she has the idea, right? Because we saw, I mean, I don't know where Wendy's candles are, but the Grand Dame, those candles were flying off the shelves at BravoCon. She can execute. I'm sure the show was amazing and she can execute. I think that's where it is. She can probably execute just a little better than Mia's joint opening event. The new chiropractic event. Something I'm noticing about Mia that maybe I should have, I'm usually a pretty good judge of character, but sometimes I'm not, is last season I didn't mind Mia, but this season nothing is coming off authentic. Everything is coming off extremely fake. Like, do you notice that at all? Like
Yeah.
when she walks into the room, I was talking about it when we were talking last week or the week before when they were at Peter's restaurant in Miami when they walked in. No, the Greek restaurant when they walked in. She's like, no one is there. Like, who are you? What are you performing for? Who are you performing for? And it's like she's like, you're opening another chiropractic franchise. This is not like the opening of whatever. And she's like, I am the director regional of whatever, and this is my new region, and good. That's awesome. Congratulations. It's just
you're tired. Well,
yeah.
Bassett said this in an interview. She's like, listen, I like her. I like Mia, but I feel like Mia needs to kind of put away that this is not a popularity contest and just be more authentically herself. And then I think that will serve her better to be able to do that. But Mia,
I mean, was she herself? I think she was more herself when she threw the water onto Wendy.
Or the salad.
Or the salad. Oof, yikes.
I'm excited though, not excited, but I'm intrigued to hear because Mia opening up about when she first got on the show, she was very open about all of the procedures that she's had done. Then she got called out for did she have cancer? Did she not? Which is not a good
we
thing
haven't talked about at all anymore.
We haven't talked about it at all. And Vicky Gunvalson's ex did this and it was a bad look. We know that. But now she talked about how she met her husband and hooked up with him on a beach in Miami while he was married in front of all of their friends. And now she introduced somebody who might be just a little bit too close to home.
I said, a performer.
Right. We have Jacqueline. Jacqueline's on the show, but Jacqueline is defending, for the most part, everything that Mia has going on. But then they're very open about the fact that Jacqueline in the past has slept with some of Mia's boyfriends, right? This is what they're talking about. And now Gizelle's interested. You've caught her interest and she wants to know, have you slept with G? And she
Not only have you caught Gizelle's interest, she's pulling out a notebook and she's taking all kinds of notes to store mentally for later.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but also Gizelle's like in her mind, the thing is like when it becomes fair game, it becomes fair game. And it's like, that's why Ashley Darby was looking at Candace when she brought up the alleged Chris rumors and she's smiling because she's like, oh, you don't like that, do you? It doesn't feel so good. And Candace is like, you're a fake bitch. And it's like, ah! Then you have Gizelle and everybody was talking about Pastor Jamal. And she's like, oh, okay. There's skeletons in your closet. Let's play. And it's kind of how this goes.
I still think like I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to just this one thing. I really think like in my head, I don't know why I think it. I think like Candace and Ashley are probably like best friends and they're like planning out how to like work this fight through to like make a great show this season. Do you ever think that some of them are friends and they meet like a secret speakeasy tunnel under the ground and like, okay, this week we have to do this? Because you can't send texts anymore. Texts are now receipts. Calls can be recorded. Like you have to like do it in secret.
You know, I do have questions because I just put up before, and I know that we're bouncing around, but I just put this up a little bit ago, and I did a video this morning because, oh, you guys have to go check out the video. Right now, it has 820 votes. I just put it up right before we came on here. Hold on, here it is. So Lisa Rinna confirmed that her and Kathy Hilton have buried the hatchet after having a lovely chat at the People's Choice Awards. So now I'm wondering, wait a minute. Having a lovely chat, because my thing here, watching this or listening to this, hearing this, I'm like, you talked about my daughter. You claimed that my daughter is the R word. You said that I was the devil. You said all of these things. You guys are claiming that I said slurs at the Caribou Club in Aspen. You've dragged me all over social media. You've dragged my family. You've caused this like wrench in between my relationship with my sister. But yeah, let's have a conversation, a lovely conversation, and be able to bury the hatchet. I wouldn't bury shit with you.
Is it all in the name of entertainment? Like,
maybe.
You know, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, because if Lisa Rinna talks about Paris, we are now talking about Paris. If you're talking about Kathy Hilton, we're talking about Kathy Hilton. All the time, we're talking about Lisa Rinna. It just is kind of helping their algorithm, if you want to put it like that. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I get really into this conspiracies about like, how does this all work?
Yeah. Well, we remember too. I mean, we were around LVP, and then Brandy Glanville ended up outing the fact that they would have conversations before they would go film, and they would, have these ideas and things that they would talk about, and then you bring that up on camera. I think that a lot of it is contrived and pre-produced. I think it just gets bad when the girl, like Noella Bergner, going on the Real Housewives of Orange County and telling the ladies this is how it needs to go right before they start filming. That's not the way to pre-produce. But if you go into it and you're like Lisa Rinna, like, oh, I'm gonna drop a bomb on you guys today, and nobody knows it's coming.
Well, it's like you said too. There was one moment they were filming. I think you told me about this. That Beverly Hills was filming, and they will sit at dinner for like 6 hours. But if nothing's being done, they're filming this event, this dinner. We need something to happen to carry this story. Usually, it's Lisa Rinna who will just drop a bomb.
Yeah,
and be like, you know what? I heard you're a cheap ass bitch. I heard your daughter's a slut. I heard you're, like.
It's like, why? Well, and it's just like, okay, so when I was sitting with Sergio and Nina Ali from Real Housewives of Dubai, we were at the Shade Assassins panel at BravoCon. And when we're sitting there, and Andy asked Erica, which couple do you think is not going to last? And she's like, oh, for my franchise? And he's like, sure. And she said, Dorit and PK. But then fans immediately were like, hold on, wait a minute. We think that the reason you said that was to save Dorit's job, because now, just like Sutton and Lisa Rinna dragged on this whole Elton John fiasco forever, and it got so annoying, it's like now Dorit's going to go into this new season pissed off at Erica. They have a built-in feud, and we get to just play off of that, which just seems like that's exactly what it was. And then Teddy Mellencamp is going on 2 T's in a Pod, and she's like, listen, like, things are not good right now with the group ever since Erica said what she said about Dorit. And it's like, she's further fueling, but she's also best friends with Kyle Richards. So they all know how to play the game, and they're all advocating for Teddy Mellencamp to get back on the show. So I think it's like, yeah, I know. I know.
No.
I know.
No.
But we don't need
no one's
drama
asking
on
for that.
episode.
No one is asking for that.
I think
who said they wanted to bring her back on the red carpet? Was that Erica and Lisa? Or Erica said that? Who said it was you could bring someone back to the show? Yeah.
It was Erica said that she'd bring back Teddy. Everybody kept saying
bring back someone who's going to take the attention off you. She's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
She's not going to do anything for the show herself. She has more of a voice, and I like her more on 2 T's in a Pod.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that sometimes that's okay. Some people are not meant to be on reality TV. Like, we would be terrible on reality TV.
Awful.
And that's okay. I think you can own that. It's not made for everybody. I have a lot of friends who are just awesome people and in real life. And then I think about, if you were on a show, how would you be? You would suck. So it's not the end of the world, guys. But no, Erica does need somebody who's going to take the attention off of Erica. The one thing that I did agree with from Teddy Mellencamp was, it came out where she said that Erica and Lisa Rinna need to kind of separate themselves from each other. And I think that's true, because the Fox Force 4, whatever you want to call it, I think that they're so latched on to each other, and nobody can infiltrate the group. And it just makes it an odd dynamic. It's like time to break up the monotony.
Agreed.
I like that word, monotony, Jason.
How did we go from Potomac to Beverly Hills?
Well, because we were talking about, sometimes you said Ashley and Candace, is it pre-produced?
Oh, it was my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, it was your fault. But another thing that happened on last night's episode is we have Dr. Wendy Osefo and Robin Dixon, and they're able to bury the hatchet and move forward. Now, Robin, you can tell in the conversation, Dr. Wendy was like, we had a great talk. We were a little lit. We were drunk. We had a great talk, and we were able to bury this. And Robin was talking to Gizelle about this before, and you could tell Robin is kind of standoffish because she doesn't want to look like she caved too soon. And Wendy's like, what do you need from me? She's like, I apologize. She's like, but were you genuine? And I'm like, I feel like you're doing that and you're holding back a little bit because of Gizelle. That's what it feels like.
It always feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, sometimes it's just frustrating. Like, we want Robin. I'm seeing more and more as the seasons go on. She has the ability to really bring it. I just think it's like, we have to cut you two away from each other, because you two, they lean on each other.
100%. And when we talked and we broke down Potomac with DJ Richie Sky on the podcast, we were talking about how Robin is activated this season. Like, she is playing housewife, which is great. But she can get away from Gizelle. Other people want to be your friend. Candace, Wendy, hello. like step away for a little bit. But the season is still like halfway in. We don't know if the Green on Bandits, I mean, they have stuff together, but they don't always agree.
Yeah.
So
And listen, I agree with that. Also on last night's episode, we got the girls. It was their Sweet 16.
my favorite cast members of the Real
Yes.
Housewives of Potomac right here.
The best.
The ones who always check Gizelle at the right time, right place, right thing to say.
They're on Karen Huger's payroll.
Really, right?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But no, I love seeing those are some of my favorite moments of seeing Gizelle is her as a mom, because I really enjoy her as a mom. And then watching her with Robin sometimes I'm like, but if you think about the Real Housewives of Miami, we don't really have duos that stick together that are full-time housewives like we do with Gizelle and Robin. We have,
because I was going to say Marisol and Alexia, but then you're right.
Marisol's a friend.
Is technically not the housewife, right? Yeah.
Julia and Adriana. Adriana's a friend.
Everyone has a little like side piece.
Yeah, but then they're
sidekick. That's the wrong word.
Yeah, not a side piece.
Everyone has a little side piece.
A friend.
A friend.
Right? And that makes sense. One thing that
Robin to your Batman.
Robin to your Batman. One thing that didn't make sense to me in this episode was Ashley Darby talking about how she's going to miss Michael Darby and sometimes the intimate moments and stuff like that. I was like,
no, girl. Like, look who she's dating now. Are they dating? I mean, they're together all the time. Luke?
They're together all the time.
Yeah, great. Love that for them. I think they're a great looking couple. I think that's great for both of them.
Yeah,
just get Michael. I think what she's going to miss is just having that security blanket of he's an older guy. God, what am I saying? A security blanket of Michael Darby. But he has money. He's doing things right. I don't know what the hell she's gonna miss. Actually, I really can't. I was gonna try to defend it, like, I don't know.
Gross. Okay. Ebony Dix, I agree with this. Dr. Wendy, please let this be your last apology. I agree with that. It's like, no more. Enough said. I'm curious now, moving forward with this whole Chris Bassett thing, because we have Candace Diller Bassett, and she's having a party to celebrate 2 degrees. Her home looks beautiful. She has her mom there. She's talked about how her and her mom have just accepted that they're not always going to see eye to eye. This is their relationship, so they have to make the best of it. I think that sometimes people have those relationships with those parents, and I think that might help another person out there who's watching, because sometimes viewers really internalize this shit. So,
I mean, listen, sometimes I do. There was one point I thought I was Lisa Vanderpump. At one point, I was like, wow, I think I might be her. Like, I'm Lisa. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think it's great. I miss Dorothy on the show. When I don't see Dorothy, and the Candace, I like to see their back and forth relationship. But we all have a parent. Well, I don't know. You're really, really close to yours, right? I mean, I'm close to mine, but I have, my mom and I have maybe a Dorothy and Candace relationship.
Yeah. I mean,
except I'm Dorothy.
No. Hi, this is Kelly Leventhal. Love you guys. Good Vibes General Store. I don't believe that this is Kelly. Kelly, if this is you, text me.
And if it is, hi.
Yeah, if it is, hi. If it's not, I mean, I'll know in 2 seconds. I just opened my phone for it.
Yeah, I cannot believe. Okay, so here's the thing. Going back to the Chris Bassett situation. Okay. No one really saw this situation. You're kind of going on the he said, she said kind of thing with Gizelle. And I could see Chris going up to Gizelle because they seemed like close friends, right? And saying, like, you're not understanding where my wife is coming from. I think Gizelle took it a little too far. But then who am I to say how a woman feels when a man approaches her? Because I don't know. But I think it was blown out of proportion. But for Ray to come in, it's like, where have you been, girl? Like, who are you to come say you might need to go talk to Gizelle?
And also, to be fair, like with Ray knowing everything that all of the allegations in the past with Karen and having to go through that, I'm surprised that he's even trying to, especially with Gizelle. I'm surprised that he's trying to defend this and be like, you need to go make this right.
Remember Gizelle and her t-shirts she made for Karen and everyone?
Yeah, #tax reform. I wouldn't be, if I were Karen's husband, I would not be saying, I think you should go make things right with Gizelle. I would be like, oh man, she's got a new target and that's you, And I see why he's pissed. He's like, No, this is BS. You have Mia Thornton, who was claiming that I was, getting icy with her. You have Ashley Darby, who's like wondering, why am I sliding into her DMs when I simply responded to a story? You have Gizelle, who's saying that she was uncomfortable. That was not Kelly Dodd. She still hasn't texted. So lies. You have Gizelle, who said that she was uncomfortable in the back room at the reunion when she said, hey, can you please get out of the room? I don't want to be in this room together. And he did just that. So it's one after another. And he's getting all of this because we no longer have Michael Darby on the show. Of course, he's not going to be like the most excited about filming certain things. And now that you're in his home, he's cooking for you. It's his wife's party. He can't really exit. It's not, he can't actually he doesn't get to walk out because where's he going to go? We're in his house.
Yeah,
right?
No, I'd be pissed. Yeah.
Yeah. Mary Morton, I agree with this. Have respect for Chris and how he supports his wife and he tells her straight. They do. I mean, they really they just give it to each other and they don't lie about sometimes they fight, sometimes they argue. Candace's mom was like, you can't cuss the way that you guys cuss in front of kids. And she kind of gave us a Margaret Joseph's kids are resilient. They know not to say bad words.
I grew up in a family of sailor mouths. So I know when it's appropriate to maybe use the words and maybe not, so I don't know.
I mean, have you met my family?
Yes.
My family, it's every other word is especially if you're watching, you're really bad about this. My mom's only bad when she's driving.
Well, I mean, anybody's bad when they drive. I yell at people all the time when I'm driving, even if I'm by myself.
Or if she doesn't have ice in her cup.
Oh, yeah. She likes ice.
Yeah. If she doesn't have ice in her cup, that she turns into Pirates of the Caribbean sailor mouth.
Just to jump back onto Potomac and Miami really quick. I'm so happy because Potomac, I always say I never like talking about Potomac or Jersey because they're my two favorite franchises. But Miami has it's always been one of my favorites, but I think they're kind of taking the cake for me already. 4 episodes in.
I think that Potomac, first of all, they came out so strong. They came out swinging this season, and I'm enjoying every single moment of it. I think that we have a really solid cast, and I'm loving Potomac this season. Miami, we already know. I hate that it's on the back of a divorce and a huge scandal and a hot mic moment. I hate that that's why we're loving Miami, but it's not the only reason. I think that Miami is going to be incredible. And then again, Jersey season 13 is going to be absolutely on fire, but it's based off of another family dramatic situation where the family's not talking, and it almost makes you feel like an asshole to watch. You're like, oh, I want to watch this family's getting broken apart and they hate each other now. It's it doesn't get my chops wet. I don't know. Okay. Norma's right. I've never heard Norma cuss. You're right, Norma. She has the purest mouth. Okay. And Dub said, okay, but Candace is pageant trained. She knows manners. I said that to her at BravoCon when I introduced Jason to her because I said, hey, we buried the hatchet and I wanted to just introduce you, say hi, this is my fiance, Jason. You guys also spoke a couple times on Twitter. So let's all just meet each other right now. And I told her, I was like, you're a freaking wordsmith, friend. She would be the last person. You have somebody who can't handle the conversation. This is not a dig at you, Mia. I'm sorry, but who needs to throw the glass. And I know that Candace has caught herself in some other situations, right? But then you have somebody who has the ability to just sit there and eviscerate you with their words.
Her confessionals are legitimately one of my favorite part of watching the show.
Yeah. I don't honestly know of anybody.
I don't know if neck, whatever she said. I don't know if that's wordsmith. I don't know if that's her I don't know if that's the right wordsmith that you're talking about, but
she has some words that she says, and I'm like, Jason, Google that. What does that mean? But I always do that,
Neck is the part of your body that sits between your head and your shoulders.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, reach. And now that I think about it, on Miami, we don't really have any wordsmiths on Miami. We just have
No, they all speak other languages. That's also amazing.
Yeah.
I love when they throw in the Spanish. It's this is South Florida, right? Everything shows up in Spanish before it does English. If you can't speak it, you definitely know how to read something. I think it's fun to integrate the language into the show a little bit. I love when Alexia and Marisol go into Spanish. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Rolling Hills of Neck.
Rolling Hills of Neck. Candace is an expert reader. Okay, I'm not reading that.
Yeah, she's a reader. She's a
Yeah.
reader. Wordsmith, I don't know.
She's
But
a
yeah,
reader.
reader for sure.
Norma said
Reading for
Marisol
filth.
is a wordsmith in Spanish. I love it. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and move on from this. We're about 50 minutes in. We have Hot Messy podcast to record, and I have to like get up the courage to be able to talk about this weekend and the shit that went down. I also now, and I know that you guys will see. Tomorrow it's dropping. My brother and my sister, they're coming in town tomorrow. My sister-in-law is coming with them. We have the event tomorrow night that we're going to be going to that Jason said is streaming from when, Jason?
So tomorrow night, the Below Deck Cast watch party will be streaming from 8 to 9 p.m. or 8 until whenever all the cast gets a chance to come on and talk to people. Josh will actually be hosting it. Josh does Anchor Watch with me. So he'll be hosting it tomorrow, but I will be there. We will all be there, kind of in the chat. We'll be calling in from different cameras and stuff too. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Bring your questions.
Bring your questions. All right, guys. Well, with that, we have other pre-records coming out today. Jason and I are about to go get some haircuts, record a podcast, get our fur babies cut too, and then we'll just be dropping content along the way. Tomorrow, new episode of Hot Messy Podcast. Same thing for Friday. We'll be back for our recaps this week. Lots going on, and we're getting into the holidays. I'm about to have a big giant screw shoved into my mouth. That's fun. We'll see. It's going to be Norma or somebody who's going to turn that into something dirty. I asked for that one, but all right, smash that like button, get subscribed, hit that notification bell. And Jason, did I miss anything?
I don't think so, unless you had something else planned.
Okay.
That's what I love about this. It's not my show.
It's Queen Josh's time to rule the kingdom in Jason's absence. And Norma, I know you do. I remember. I thought you were going to end at screw, Adam. No, I wasn't. Okay. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.